What's up everyone? In today's video, we are zooming in on Balenciaga, specifically on Balenciaga's Spring Summer 24 collection. Demna presented this collection a week ago at Paris Fashion Week. Now, it's no secret that the brand has experienced big ups and downs recently. It's been a tough year since the infamous mud show last September, with scandals and social media backlash along the way. Demna tried to redeem the brand's reputation with going back to classic dressmaking last season, and this time around, well, it seemed like he was finally ready to have a bit more fun and be Demna again. Everyone probably expected a collection something like in between pre- and post-scandal Balenciaga. Well, it turned out to be more than that. The collection was named Capital B. It was super personal collection, inspired by friends, family and colleagues, and most importantly, it was a tribute to the crafting the garment. Demna explains that even though his last season's collection was a good show, it was still very polished. In many ways, it was a show of fear. He continued how polished shows are not his style and that he liked more genuine and rough aesthetic, that he finally managed to stay loyal this time around. What I showed today was probably my most personal and my most favorite collection, because it was about me. It was about my story, said Demna. Here are his comments right after the show with Interview magazine.
It's not about likes or social media or a buzzy title on an article. I couldn't care less about it. And it's not marketing and it's not like, business strategies. It's about creativity and it's about craft, what I do. And I will always do that.
You still like the confrontation though?
Well, yeah, but what is life without that? I mean, it's a lie. I don't believe in this kind of perfect, polished, beige Angora world. I don't. And I don't want to. And I don't want to. I'm sorry, I refuse to.
The show was opened by Demna's mother, who was a designer's first style inspiration. She wore a mutated car coat with 4 sleeves. This piece was made of 3 deconstructed and repurposed vintage garments. The show was staged in a theater space, where red velvet was draped around the runway. The heavy red drapes and the theater alluded to the idea that clothes are costumes for the characters we wanna be and the roles that we play in life. Apparently, Demna goes back and revisits his core codes. The collection marked a return to the subversive anti-establishment and extreme codes that he was known for prior to Balenciaga. Surreal tailoring perfectly proved this point. The silhouettes were huge and extreme. Suits came with hulking perpendicular shoulders and baggy silhouettes. In a similar way, hulking shoulders were applied to overcoats. Here, Balenciaga tailoring consists of signature techniques and attitudes. A 2D effect is applied to create a flattened, straight shoulder without shoulder pads. The surrealistic feel of tailoring was intensified by shoe clutches. Looks like stilettos and classic derbies obtain a function of a clutch. From tailoring, Demna transitions into streetwear. Here he unleashed his love for filthy and grungy coats. For Demna, fashion is in opposition to luxury. In fact, he does not care about luxury. He never gives people a proposition to look like they are rich or successful, because luxury is top-down and Demna does it the opposite way, bottom-up, and that's often seen quite provocative about Demna. Anyways, in this segment we saw a lot of zip-up hoodies, cargo pants, sweatpant denim hybrids and tattoo print mesh tops. Long A-line skirts have removable panels that can be interchanged or removed for a shorter silhouette. Choice of styling looks pretty unique. Deconstructed luggage bags are transformed into shoulder bags. Demna calls them the suitcase totes. Fashion should be fun and it should be playful, said Demna. No doubt, he had plenty of fun while making this collection. He designed terry-cloth bathrobes as a coat alternative. He removed a standard 2-inch thick belt and replaced it with a simple shoelace. We've seen a fair number of weird and wild bags from Balenciaga over the years, and here we have another one. A supermarket grocery tote is reproduced in leather with prints such as strawberry, red berries, and some greens. Spa and resort clothing are followed by loungewear that can be used as streetwear if needed. The concept of hoodies and matching sweatpants is borrowed from last season's collection. This time Demna did a revision and made a few adjustments. Padded shoulders are removed and biker boots are replaced with absurdly large sneakers. Demna calls them cargo sneakers. 1,000 limited edition pairs of new cargo sneakers were available right after the show in an exclusive release. Demna continued to parade a collection true to his hardcore, rebellious spirit. He sent out an army of soldiers dressed in military jackets and matching cargo pants. Camouflage army jackets have super wide, hulking shoulders. Cargo pants are designed with an elastic waistband and adjustable cords. Apparently, Demna lays claim to the oversized looks that he pioneered long time ago. Alright, right after Balenciaga soldiers, Demna sends urban bikers down the runway. It's no secret that he loves a motorcycle jacket, a fact made evident once again this season. This time around, Demna teamed up with Alpine Stars, the Italian brand known for its racing gear and clothing. The result was outstanding. Massively oversized leather jackets push the boundaries of proportion in every way. These biker jackets are built of recycled dead stock leather panels. Demna once again sets example and prioritizes sustainability. At Balenciaga, just as fashion is not equated to luxury, craft does not mean glossy surfaces and perfectly symmetrical stitching. It was made evident once again in the last segment. Here, jacket necklines are widened and dismantled so they can be worn off the shoulder and dropped on the arms in a casual manner. This season, Balenciaga eyeglasses were blacked out and almost looked as if they had been put upside down, in line with Demna's futuristic aesthetic, especially when it comes to shades. The most talked about thing in this collection was Demna's essential travel accessory, the Balenciaga passport. On the outside, it's a fake passport with stacked boarding cards. On the inside, it's actual wallet with a zip. It can fit your passport and your iPhone as well. Once again, Demna turns mundane, everyday things to something special and interesting. Once again, it was a super personal collection for Demna. It was a reflection of his world and the identities that comprise his community. Apparently, Demna's relationship with clothes has been hugely important to developing and expressing his identity, so he cast his show on the people who helped him along the way. Demna artistically blended together his personal connections, cultural references, and modern fashion. The collection looked genuine and real, without the gimmicks. At the same time, you could say it was still confrontational, but as we all know, that's the essence of Demna's Balenciaga. The show was closed by Demna's husband. He's also the artist that produces the music for all his shows. He wore a wedding dress mantled from 7 different vintage bridal gowns, tiered and piled together as a new.